Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my TV and movie wrap up for May and June. I didn't really watch that much in the last 2 months. I did watch 5 movies and that was it. I actually didn't watch any TV. The only TV I have watched is my never-ending rewatch of What We Do in the Shadows, which the new season comes out middle of July, which I'm very, very excited about. But other than that, I've only watched movies. The first movie I watched was Kiki's Delivery Service. This I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This follows a young witch on her mandatory year of independent life, finds fitting into a new community difficult while she supports herself by running an air courier service. This I had just seen on my Netflix and it looked cute, and there was like a black little cat in it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to watch something with a black cat because I myself have a black cat. And this was a cute and wonderful movie. I really, really enjoyed it. I did watch it in the original language, which is Japanese, and then I just obviously had English subtitles. I did try to switch it in English at one point and I didn't really enjoy that, so I went back to Japanese. I loved Kiki's development as a character. She definitely grew up as a person, and I loved all the little friendships that she made in this new community, and I loved Kiki's relationship with her cat Gigi. That was so cute. And it kind of like broke my heart at one point when like they were no longer like communicating. Like I get it, it was like the growth for Kiki, but I was so sad that they like didn't have that close of a relationship anymore. All of the shots were very beautiful and the ending kind of made me emotional. It was just a very wholesome movie and I really, really enjoyed it. Then I watched my newest obsession, which is My Fault or Culpa Mia. This is a Spanish movie on Prime, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really loved this movie, and I actually rewatched it a total of 3 times. So I watched it 4 times in the month of June. I'll never properly explain this movie, so I'm just going to read the IMDb summary. Noah has to leave her town, boyfriend, and friends behind and move into the mansion of her mother's new rich husband. There she meets Nick, her new stepbrother. They fall madly in love in secret. This is an adaptation of a book. I have not read the book. I do own it and I plan on reading it eventually. I couldn't wait to read the book before watching the movie. I did watch this movie in Spanish with English subtitles at first, and then on my second watch I did watch it in English. However, I feel like the dubbed version is so bad. Like, it's genuinely awful. Just thought the dubbed version was so bad that I continued to rewatch it in Spanish. I loved the actors. They both had insane chemistry, and the fact that they've worked together before doing this movie, you can really tell that they are super comfortable with each other. All of their like promo for the movie and stuff is just great. Like, they seem like best friends, and I don't know, you can just feel their chemistry on screen. I loved the directing and the cinematography. I feel like it was a pretty well shot movie, and I also loved the soundtrack and the score. I thought that was fantastic as well. And there are some race car scenes in this movie, like quite a few of them, and they were actually done pretty well. Like, I kind of expected them to be really, really bad, but the like first main one was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. I feel like it wasn't too obvious that it was fake. I feel like that was done really well. The car scene like at the end of the movie was not great, but I feel like they made it work as much as they could. But that one was definitely, you could tell there was like a green screen and some editing done to the scene. Yeah, I think the actors did such a great job with their characters, and I even liked a lot of the side characters and like even the parents. I really liked the parents. I thought they were fantastic. I am very curious to see what's going to happen next. Fingers crossed we get a second and third movie, because there are 3 books. I've heard some very like iffy, problematic things about the other books in the series, but I'm hoping maybe they'll change it for the movie. I don't know. My favorite scenes from the movie are their first kiss. Like, even the party scene, like where they're arguing, I love that scene. I also love the scene on the couch. I love the pool scene. I love their sex scene. I love the scene where she's taking care of him when he like gets injured. I love this whole movie. I love every scene in this movie. It was just so fun, and I don't know, it was definitely better than the new adult movies that we've gotten recently. Like, this one was pretty good. And I like a lot of bad movies, so me saying that this one was pretty good, I'm serious. Like it is pretty good. Then I watched Perfect Addiction. This I also watched on Prime, and this I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars. A successful boxing trainer discovers that her boyfriend, a reigning champion, has been cheating on her with her own sister. She sets out revenge by training the one man capable of dethroning him. This is also a book adaptation. I have not read the book. I don't have an interest in reading the book, even though I have heard good things about it. I just didn't really care that much about the story to begin with, so I kind of just wanted to stick with the hour-long movie. This is directed by Castile Landon, who directed After We Fell and After Ever Happy. And I will say I absolutely love Castile's directing, and I hope that she continues to direct some of these new adult stories, because she is fantastic at directing the female voice, the female perspective. I just think she's great with romance adaptations, and I don't know, I really loved that aspect of this movie. However, I just didn't really like the story. Like I said, I just found the boxing stuff to be kind of boring. I did like all of the actors, and I think they did a great job. The romance was lacking for me a little bit. I just didn't fully feel the chemistry between everybody. The main character, Sienna, was just so set on getting revenge that it was kind of not repetitive, but it just felt like that was her only emotion, was wanting to get revenge. It didn't feel like she had many layers to her. It kind of very felt surface level, if that makes sense. Jax is a horrible, horrible character. He was awful. He was a great villain, and the actor did a great job. His name is Matthew Nozka, I think. I'm pretty sure he kind of started as an influencer and stuff, and now he's gotten into acting. And he's actually a pretty good actor. I always thought of him as just an influencer, where they all try to act, but he's actually pretty good. He played a pretty decent villain. Ross Butler as Caden was fine. He was all right. I just didn't love his character. And I also just didn't love Sienna either, who's played by Kiana Madeira, I think, who's actually also in After We Fell and After Ever Happy. Fun fact. I also will say the constant voiceover that Sienna had throughout this movie was a little repetitive and kind of annoying. I wish that would have been dialed back a little bit. But overall, this movie was pretty good. It wasn't a horrible movie, but I also just wasn't in love with it. However, I love Castile's directing, and I will probably forever want to watch all of her movies because I feel like she does such a great job. And then I rewatched Through My Window, which I have settled on a 3.5 out of 5 star rating. I've always been really unsure of my rating of the movie, but I am solid on a 3.5. I rewatched this because the sequel was coming out, and I wanted to have a refresher because I hadn't rewatched Through My Window since it came out last year. I still really love this movie. I did feel kind of a lack of connection with it, but I think that's just because it has been so long since I've seen it, and I've kind of been in my Fault era, so I've been more obsessed with that movie than any other movie at the moment. I've talked about this movie plenty of times on my channel. I actually did make a whole video of me rewatching the first movie and then watching the sequel, so I'll link that video down below. But this just follows Raquel, who has had a longtime crush on her next door neighbor, and things start to change when he also develops feelings for her despite his family's obligations. It's a very steamy, entertaining, dramatic, new adult romance movie, and I really, really like it. It's still one of my favorite movies. And the last movie I watched in the last 2 months is Through My Window Across the Sea. This is the sequel to Through My Window, and this movie I gave a 2 out of 5 stars. Like I said earlier, I made a whole video on me rewatching the first movie and then this one, so that's down below if you want to know even more of my thoughts and kind of my thoughts in the moment. This just follows Raquel and Aries, who face challenges in the next chapter of their relationship. When it was announced that we were getting a second and third movie, they did say that the stories for the other brothers and the friends would kind of expand a little bit, so they would get more screen time and basically more storylines, which is fine. That aspect I actually don't hate. What I didn't like about this movie is the introduction of 2 new characters that really just didn't have that much of a purpose or a reason, really. They essentially added 2 new characters to kind of make this like love square situation and to basically have like Ares and Raquel kind of like other people instead, and it just caused issues in their relationship. Obviously, genuinely, the movie could have done without that. Like, we could have had issues about them just dealing with long distance because they're both going to different universities. I also just felt like the two new characters didn't have anything like super interesting. They were literally just there as tools to cause issues in their relationship. I felt like Ares and Raquel had no scenes alone. Like, they barely had any scenes together. It just didn't feel like a romance movie. I liked Artemis and Claudia. I liked their scenes. They had like a decent amount of scenes. It wasn't too much, but it wasn't too little. Same for Danny and Apollo. I will say the end of this movie is very, very, very sad, and I was a little heartbroken. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like angry about like that decision because I don't really understand the point of doing that. Obviously, I don't want to spoil things, but yeah, I just feel like this movie was all over the place. There were way too many characters, way too many storylines. I think genuinely, if we had taken away the new characters, Vera and Gregory, I would have liked this movie a lot more because I feel like we would have had more time to just focus on Raquel and Ares, and then the brothers and their relationships, and then obviously Raquel's friends. Yeah, there was just too much going on, too many storylines, too many characters, and then also at the same time, it felt like nothing really happened. Like, it was just very repetitive on like, oh, Ares and Raquel are keeping things from each other. What else are they keeping? Like, there's one secret, and then there's another one, and then there's another one. They never resolved anything. Like, there were multiple things that they could have just talked about and like at least resolved one issue. But no, there was nothing resolved at all, which just made the movie feel so unfinished. But I liked the acting, I liked the directing and the cinematography. All of that was top notch. I liked all of that. It was just the story itself, like the bones of the movie was bad. I am going to watch the third movie though. I am excited to see what happens in the third movie, which is called Through My Window Looking at You, and it's supposed to come out next year. So I will be watching that one, and hopefully that one is better. So those are all the movies that I watched in the last 2 months. Let me know if you have watched any of the movies that I talked about and what you think about them, or let me know what you have been watching recently. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.